The Throwfire Project was the name of our nonprofit organization. It had a Bible base. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 49, Jesus says, "I've come to throw fire on the earth, and how I wish it was already blazing." Jesus was foreseeing his passion. And Pope Benedict XVI sees many challenges in our world and our lives, but none can be solved unless God is put at the center, visible to the world, and that we each enkindle fire in our hearts, aflame with love. The Pope says God enters the world through us.
I am happy to be here today to say a few words about Dan and Kim Mead, some of my parishioners. This church that's so beautiful, that's in my background, is one of the many churches that Dan and Kim practice their faith in. This one is the one that we see them at a regular basis because they bring their family. Their family's very involved in our church, from teaching confirmation to sacristan duties to helping with daily mass. Dan's been very instrumental with starting the men's group that we celebrate and get men together from all our parishes in our cluster in the surrounding area every Saturday morning. Kim's been instrumental in prayer with working with the women of the parish and other children and getting them involved in knowing their faith. Both Dan and Kim are very deserving of this award. I'm very happy to have known Andy, and Andy would be proud that they would be representing his name in this award, because Dan and Kim are really, as a young couple with a lot of children and a big family, they really represent what the Catholic Church teaches about openness to life, about really not just practicing your faith in private, but really bringing it into the public, not only in our church community, but also the community at large. And so I'm very happy to know both Dan and Kim. I've known them not only as a pastor here in these parishes, but also before, when I was the vocation director for 10 years in the Diocese of St. Cloud. It was Dan and Kim who opened their home up and their hearts and their family up to us in the diocese. And we started vocation camps, a camp out that happens every year for young men who are discerning their call, possibly to the priesthood, but to their vocation in the Catholic Church. So this openness to life has been a predominant part of what Dan and Kim stand for, not only in how they practice their faith, but also how they preach it by the way they live. So I'm very happy to know that Dan and Kim are very deserving of this award.
We met Dan and Kim 10 or 12 years ago, 5 or 6 kids ago, I guess, and they've been wonderful friends, wonderful examples of living the Catholic life and spreading the gospel. Their house is always open. Just everything they do about life is wonderful, is a good example on spreading the gospel, and wonderful friends, always there for you.
They evangelize their Catholic faith through their day-to-day living. Their faith has motivated them to impact the lives of many people in their community.
Dan is always out there talking to somebody. He never misses a point or a time to talk to anybody about his faith and where he's at, and helping the other person to see where they should be at and where they're at. He takes it serious, like at the end of the Mass when it says, "Go spread the good news." That's Dan. He took it literally, and he does it.
I think of Dan as being, in the truest sense, an Ephesians 6 man. He is a man who holds the shield of faith and who carries the sword of truth, which is the Word of God, so as to defend others and to defend his own heart for the glory of God. And Dan has been a blessing to me. He's been a blessing to many. When I was yet a seminarian, I had the very good opportunity to help out with the vocation camps that would happen over at his place. And he would welcome all seminarians and all young men who wanted to discern with the vocations director and other seminarians what it means that God might be calling them to the priesthood. And so he provided his own house, his own land there. And we had volleyball courts, and we had a lake, and we even had a chapel that Dan would set up for us, where we had an altar and we could celebrate adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. And it'd be enough if it were just the place, but once the place was met with the people of faith, it really made it more than just a campground. it sort of made it a pilgrimage site, something that you looked forward to every single year. And I know I had the good opportunity of not only going back twice as a seminarian, but now having gone back once as a priest.
One thing about Dan recently and Kim, they prayed very hard. He was working out somewhere else, and they prayed about their finances and what God is leading them. And together they decided he should go into business his own and carpentering and so forth and help. And through that, his business, he's so open to listen to people and pray with them, even when he goes into their homes and does some of their repair jobs. One lady said, "My goodness, I never had a stranger pray with me before." So it's very good. They always have a smile on their face. They always have a hug for you. It's a blessing, right, Jen?
Right, yeah. And their family. They have this large family, and even their family, they've taught them well, and they're just all very loving too. So we love you both, and we thank you for all the things you do for us.
We kind of got to know Kim and Dan about 4 years ago, and it was just kind of ironic how that happened. Dan or I knew each other at the time, and Dan just made a phone call and said, "I don't know you, you don't know me, but Father Gregory has said, gave me your number and said to call you and see if you'd be interested in helping a men's group." So that's how it's all kind of evolved, and now I'm part of Ecclesia Domestica because of Dan and God, because God put us two together. And
I just love the way they live their faith.
they truly live their faith. They live through their faith, with their faith, by their faith.
Complete trust.
Complete trust in the Lord in everything that they do.
Dan is a true brother. Dan is a guy that if you had to call him for any reason at all and you needed him on the spot, he'd show up. He would. I know he would. And his heart is bigger than he is. I'm sorry if that makes sense, but Dan is just, I mean, the guy might as be 10 feet tall. How he loves and how he encourages other people, and just the fact that he's just like, he does what he says he's going to do. And you don't get that a lot these days. I mean, I'm probably telling everybody what they already know about Dan. He's incredible. And Kim, and just the way that they parent, it's just beautiful. It's just awesome.
Well, when I think of Dan and Kim Mead, what comes to mind first of all is just a passion for the faith, a passion to live the faith out loud, a real fire for the faith. Dan being kind of that red, that yellow flame, that fiery flame, lots of courage and passion in his life. And you have Kim, who's kind of that white, that blue flame, that quiet flame that burns hot, has such a great effect on other people's lives. And together, what you have is a couple who's lived their vocation in a beautiful fashion, a generous fashion, in a way that's affected so many other people, and they do it with such an authenticity and such generosity. And it's why I think they just exemplify so well this award that we name in Andy Hilger's name. And so congratulations to you, Dan, to you, Kim, and to your entire family, for you bless us in so many ways.